Quinn bit into his wrist to save his dying friend. His system warned him, but he let vampire blood drip into Peter's mouth. But Quinn didn't care. This was his best friend. If it saves Peter, it's a miracle. If not, did Quinn just turn his best friend into a monster?
The alien beast was hungry for a kill. Syl gasped. The fight against the Dalki was too much for him.
I can't hold on. I'm tapping out.
Quinn's vampire system flashed a warning.
Time until backup arrives. 12 minutes.
Quinn shouted, trying to draw the exhausted team's attention.
12 minutes! We just have to hold them off until Captain Leo arrives.
Vorden, the team leader, shouldered Quinn aside.
Shut up, vamp! Out of the way!
Quinn let the platoon leader take his place. Even in the middle of battle, no one was going to forgive him for being a vampire. Vorden's hands glowed blue. Putting them together, he fired an energy pulse at the alien. The bolt harmlessly bounced off the creature's scaled hide. The Dalki surged forward, its strength unchecked. It fired a bolt from its rifle, catching Peter in the chest. Quinn heard his friend fall. Seeing him drop hurt, Peter was the only one in the platoon who accepted Quinn, despite his vampire nature. If anything happened to Peter, Quinn wouldn't have any friends at all. Vorden waved his hands to signal a retreat. Fall back! The other cadets began pulling back, but Quinn stayed on the front lines. Retreating now was pointless. The Dalki wouldn't stop. It would just keep coming. And if they ran, he wouldn't get his revenge. Quinn opened up his system screen, searching for anything that could turn the fight back in his favor. Windwalk ability. Never used that one before. Vorden yelled at Quinn as he retreated behind the cover of an overturned mech.
We're outmatched! Talon, fall back!
He wasn't wrong. The Dalki was closing in, a rictus grin on its scaled face. Quinn activated his Windwalk ability and blurred across the battlefield, meeting the Dalki head-on. Not so fast! The Dalki looked surprised. Quinn had just covered 50 yards in the blink of an eye, but the Dalki was faster. The beast pivoted, its claws swinging straight for Quinn's head. Quinn dumped a stat point into agility. His legs surged with power. He dodged the blow. The Dalki raised both fists, ready to crush him. Quinn moved. Wind howled behind him as he closed the gap. He shouted to his system to unleash one of his powers.
Activate blood swipe.
Quinn slashed out with one hand, firing a crimson blade toward the alien. The Dalki jerked its head back just in time. The blood swipe skimmed its nose. The beast turned, locking eyes with Quinn. Its jaws croaked in a hideous approximation of speech.
Give me the egg or all of you will die.
It was talking about the Dalki egg, the one Quinn and his team found in the crashed Dalki ship 10 miles from base camp. The ship they were sent to investigate before the mission went sideways. But Quinn and his team knew the value of this egg. It held answers about Dalki DNA and their powers. It could help win the war. If only they could last until Captain Leo arrived. Vorden shouted as he left Quinn on the battlefield. It's on your head, Talon. I gave you a direct order. Quinn didn't care what Vorden said because the Dalki was ready to charge. Quinn shouted at his system again. Activate Blood Punch. Quinn sprayed blood from his knuckles at point-blank range. The blast hit the Dalki in the chest, knocking it back, but it recovered quickly and lunged again. Quinn was forced to retreat. He checked his status bar and saw his blood levels were low. He couldn't afford to take a hit or he'd lose his Windwalk ability. The Dalki came again. Quinn used Flash Step, teleporting behind the Dalki just in time. His system alerted him.
Only one movement point left.
The Dalki roared and slammed both fists into the ground, sending rocks and sand flying. Then it shrieked again.
Give me the egg.
Quinn backed away. He was running out of options. It was time to take a chance. If he didn't, he'd die. Activate Shadow Scythe. The system responded.
Ability granted.
Quinn flung his hand out. The shadows beneath his feet began to gather. They slithered up from the ground, forming a sharp, hooked polearm. To the others, it looked like Quinn was wielding a large red and black scythe. The shadowy haft was planted firmly in his hand, while the blood-red blade cut through the air. But forming the weapon had taken a good chunk of his remaining blood. His system pinged a warning.
Blood levels low. You have 3 minutes to wield the Shadow Scythe.
Quinn nodded grimly. It would have to be enough. He whirled and swung the Shadow Scythe. The blood-red blade sliced into the Dalki's side. The Dalki stumbled back, wincing in pain. It put a clawed hand to the deep gouge in its ribs. Green blood began leaking from the wound. Seeing the mighty alien injured and bleeding fired up Quinn, he charged forward. I'll send you back to whatever planet you came from. He swung his scythe down. The attack came faster than the Dalki expected. It could only barely get its arms up in time. The attack was a success. The monster's forearms dripped with green blood, but again, the alien ignored the pain. Its attacks kept coming, faster and stronger than ever before. Now Quinn was starting to worry. His attacks were landing, but the Dalki wasn't getting any weaker. If anything, it was becoming more powerful. Quinn sliced his shadow scythe again, but this time the Dalki dodged the blow. Quinn was surprised. Did he just get faster? He shouted to his system.
Analyze the Dalki's power signature. Find out why it keeps getting stronger.
His system's response was immediate.
The enemy has pain absorption techniques. The more damage it takes, the stronger it becomes.
As if to prove the point, the Dalki used a stone fist attack and hurled it straight at Quinn's face. Quinn used his shadow scythe to block the fist attack, but the Dalki immediately followed with a stone kick, landing cleanly on Quinn's side. He felt his ribs crack. His system chimed.
11 hit points of damage taken. Blood levels critical.
Quinn couldn't keep going like this. He needed more blood. It was time to retreat, as much as he hated doing it. But hopefully he'd held the Dalki off long enough for Captain Leo to arrive. Once Leo was there, they could counter, and then the blood would flow. Windwalk! The spell teleported him back to Vorden and the rest of the platoon, and into disaster. The platoon had been pinned down under fire, unable to retreat and evacuate Peter. His friend's face was pale from the loss of blood. Peter coughed weakly when he saw Quinn. Quinn, forgive me. Quinn rushed to his friend's side. Peter's hands were clammy. Vorden rounded on him furiously.
You held our withdrawal up, Talon. If Peter dies, it's on you.
Layla, another cadet in their class, dotted sweat from Peter's brow.
Shut up, Vorden. If Quinn hadn't covered our retreat, the Dalki would have caught us and we'd all be dead right now.
Vorden had nothing to say to that. It was true. He looked away, fury still all over his face. Peter's breath was labored. Layla took Peter's shoulders and called out to Quinn.
Help me lay him down.
They moved Peter to a resting position, laying him on his back. His breathing was growing shallow. Sarah, a cadet on the team with ice powers, wrung her hands.
What do we do? He'll bleed to death like this. Can't we use the robot?
Layla shook her head.
The robot wasn't meant to patch up injuries like this. He needs a surgery bay.
Vorden's voice was cold.
It might be best if he dies.
They couldn't believe what they just heard.
Are you serious, Sergeant? He's a member of your platoon!
I'm just telling the truth. We're a long way from home. He's in pain, and if he stays alive, we all suffer for it.
I'd rather die here than abandon him. I don't want to live with that guilt for the rest of my life. Do you?
Just then the ground shook as a rocket barrage hit nearby. A shout came from the lookouts up ahead. They're coming! Vorden cursed under his breath. He tucked the egg into a safe space underneath a ruined mech. Come on! He ran to the front lines, Layla and Sarah behind him. The sounds of battle drew closer. Quinn knelt by his friend's side. Peter gave him a weak smile. Guess I'm still causing trouble even out here, huh, Quinn? Quinn shook his head.
Just keep quiet. We'll be back with the others in no time.
He heard shouts around him as his fellow cadets joined the battle, but Peter's eyes were growing dim. Quinn shook his shoulder. Peter? His friend didn't respond. Quinn shook him harder. Peter! Peter's eyes opened for a moment, then closed again wearily. Quinn knew there was only one thing left to try. It was risky. He'd never done it before, and it would cost him what little blood he had left. He'd be completely helpless afterward. Quinn brought his wrist up to his mouth. As he did, his system pinged him.
You have only one blood point remaining.
Quinn knew the unspoken message behind his system's warning. It didn't want him to do this. The danger was too great, but he couldn't live with himself if he let Peter die without trying everything. Quinn bit his wrist. Blood welled at the joint. Peter wasn't moving now. Quinn held his wrist over Peter's mouth and let the blood drip in. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, Peter stirred. Peter began to show more life as the blood continued to flow. Quinn peeled back the dressing to look at his wound and saw the gash begin to knit. The healing factor in Quinn's blood was doing its job, but Quinn could feel his exhaustion building as he lost more and more blood. His system pinged him.
You are losing blood. Blood pool critical.
Now Peter had his hands around Quinn's wrist, drinking thirstily. Quinn's pain was growing. Finally, his system told him he had reached his limit.
Blood pool depleted. You have no blood points.
Quinn pulled his arm away. Peter's eyes were closed, but his chest rose and fell evenly. The wound on his side was mostly healed. It would have to be enough. Quinn stood, and immediately a wave of fatigue washed over him. He could barely keep his balance. He staggered, grabbing onto the metal frame of a burned-out mech. His system was silent. The only way to bring it back was to give it more blood, but there was none nearby. He was considering trying to drag Peter out of there when he heard the scaly voice.
Why did you save the boy?
Quinn looked up wearily. The Dalki was back. It held the egg, bouncing it in its hand from where it had retrieved it from Vorden's hiding place. Quinn looked at the monster evenly, because he was my friend. The Dalki drew its sword and hissed.
That was foolish. A society should build itself by sacrificing the weak to preserve the strong.
Quinn took a fighting stance, though he knew he was in no condition to battle the Dalki without any blood. The alien stepped forward with what passed for a smile on its face.
It's fitting your sacrifice will be wasted, since you'll be dying with it.
The Dalki swung its sword. Quinn dodged, just barely getting out of the way in time. The blade banged against the side of the dead mech. Snarling, the Dalki leapt toward Quinn. Without blood, his limbs felt like they weighed hundreds of pounds, but the Dalki was stronger than ever due to its pain absorption abilities. The next blow smashed into the ground right next to Quinn. Quinn ducked under the mech, trying to hide himself under the frame, but it was no use. The Dalki reached under the shattered robot, grabbed Quinn, and hoisted him into the air. It hissed in his direction.
Say goodbye to this universe.
It reared back its sword to strike when suddenly a voice rang out. Can't even handle one, Talon? Quinn and the Dalki looked up. Standing against the sun was a weathered man with graying hair and twin katanas. He had a scowl on his face. Captain Leo. Leo smiled mercilessly. Never send a vamp to do a real soldier's job. With that, he leapt down from the outcropping, his katana in his hand. The Dalki turned, snarling, but it was too late. Leo's blade bit into the Dalki's chest. The scaly warrior shrieked and fell. Leo kicked it once, but the monster didn't move. He sheathed his katana, then looked down at Quinn with disdain. Was that the only one? Quinn nodded, pulling himself up from where the Dalki dropped him. Just one! A voice came from the ridge. Captain. Vorden and the rest of the platoon had returned from the front lines. They clambered down to crowd around their leader. Leo sheathed his blade. All of the cadets were speechless. They were too amazed at what they had just seen. Combined, they were barely able to hold the Dalki off, but Leo had killed it with one blow. He looked around at the cadets, scowling. Is that all? Layla nodded. That's the only one we saw. She went to Peter's side. Two mechs ran forward, taking defensive positions behind Leo. All clear, Captain. Leo nodded, the scowl still on his face. He picked up the egg from the fallen Dalki's hand. This egg will give us leverage, knowledge, and power. It will teach us how the Dalki think, how they evolve, how they survive, and it's all thanks to this platoon. He nodded to Vorden, who puffed up with importance. Captain Leo's eyes passed over the team. Congratulations to all of you. His eyes landed on Quinn. Except one, Quinn Talon, who couldn't even fight off a single Dalki soldier. Quinn's chest heaved, exhausted. Layla stepped forward, fury in her eyes. That's not fair. The Dalki had pain absorption. None of us could take it down. Quinn allowed us to escape. Captain Leo held up his hand. Vorden gripped Layla's arm. She fell silent. Leo's voice was low and firm. I don't care about excuses, Sergeant. Prepare your platoon to evacuate. We have the egg and this position is lost. Someone prepare a stretcher for that soldier if he's able to move, and leave him if he'll be too great a burden. Radio back to headquarters with information that we are retreating. Private Talon, I'll deal with you when we're back at base. Just then, a sound caught Quinn's attention. Captain. Leo spun on him. Keep your mouth shut when I'm speaking, vampire. Quinn heard it again. Captain! Leo turned. His eyes went wide at the horrifying sight. The Dalki warrior had risen behind him, grinning. With its pain absorption skill activated, it looked stronger than ever. Leo barely had time to choke out a word before the alien reached out and backhanded him, sending him flying. The egg flew out of his hands.
You thought a single blow would dispatch me, Captain?
The Dalki picked up the fallen egg, then dashed it on the ground. The egg shattered, its insides pooling over the blood-stained dirt. Hissing, the Dalki stalked across the clearing until it stood over Leo. The gray-headed captain quivered. "Please don't kill me." The Dalki grinned down at the fallen officer. Its voice was soft and sinuous.
Goodbye, Captain.
It raised its sword. Quinn was rooted to the ground. Maybe they were right. Maybe he was just a vampire. Maybe he was just a freak. But he couldn't just watch Leo die. Quinn ran across the clearing and leapt onto the Dalki's back. The Dalki snarled, trying to shake him off. Quinn could feel the creature's muscles knotting under its scaly skin. He wrapped his arms around the Dalki's neck, trying to hold on. He'd never drunk Dalki blood before. He wasn't sure if his system would accept it. But now was the time to try. Quinn tipped his head forward and bit down hard.
New ability unlocked.
What new ability has Quinn unlocked? With this new upgrade, can Quinn turn the losing battle around? Click on the Install Now button below the video. On the Play Store, click the Install button, then click on the Open button to enjoy free episodes of My Vampire System, only on the Pocket FM app.